Hey, hi, hello. Oh, it's a big topic that I'm going to talk about today. And I've touched on this a few times in the past. There's a few episodes on my podcast about this. There's a few videos on my YouTube channel about this. And if you follow me on my social medias, it's kind of all over there. So it's a bit close to my heart. But I want to talk about self-love, and the reason I want to talk about self-love today is because for those of you that don't know, that don't follow me on social media already, I'm an author. Yes, big dream materialized. I've always wanted a book, always wanted to have a book published and out there in the world, and I have, and it's just amazing. And it's a book about journaling, scripting, writing, self-love, gratitude, all of those things that you do to keep yourself in a higher energy, in a higher vibe, and in a much happier state. And I love writing, and that made me think, well, okay, I've now got this book out there, so what is a topic? What do I want to talk about next? What is one thing that is really close to my heart, and one thing that I like to try and get across to people all the time? And one of the biggest things that always comes up for me when I think about my message and what I want to say is the absolute importance of self-love, because it is something I struggled with for years. I was going to say, without giving my age away, and then tell you how old I am. So it's a bit counterproductive, that statement, isn't it? So I'm just going to tell you, right? I'm 48 in 2 weeks. And for potentially 44-ish of those years, I guess you probably have to take out the first 7 before Mum died, because I was a child and I probably didn't have any self-love issues up until that point. But literally, probably on the day that my mum died and my life began to spiral out of control, and my emotions began to spiral out of control, and things started to become more difficult for me, probably up until from sort of 7 or 8 onwards to about 3 years ago. I had no self-love. I had no self-compassion. I had no self-awareness. I had no nice things to say about myself at all. Like, literally none. And I look back at that time now, and I look back at what I was doing to myself and how I was talking to myself and the way I was bullying myself mercilessly daily. And it literally wasted the biggest part of my life. My biggest regret, and they say you should never regret anything, don't they? Because, it's all lessons. And you'll have heard me talk about this before. Everything you go through, everything that is in your life, whether good or bad or right or wrong or happy or sad, it's all a lesson. And there was a reason for all of it. And so I try and look at those years of hatred for myself as the lesson, as the journey, as the catalyst to have brought me to this place that I'm at now. Because without those years, I wouldn't be the person I am now. And, I guess that's what I have to cling on to. But I wanted to get the message about self-love out there in a different way. And so that's why it is the topic this week. That's why I'm talking about it again. And it's why I've written an e-book on it. It's not going to be a full-on book like the Your Life by Design book that launched this week. Woohoo! But it's in some ways just as, if not more, important. And I start that book, the opening line in that book is, hey, hi, I'm Jane, and I know what it's like to hate everything about yourself. And I looked at that line because it's massively true, but it's also massively sad. because knowing what it's like to hate every single thing about yourself is something nobody should ever have to write down or say or feel ever. I don't care who you are or what you've been through, to actually hate everything, to not be able to find anything in yourself to love or even like, or even just be a little bit non-committal about. The word hate is such a strong word, and it's loaded with so much. But I hated with a passion everything, and I should have been loving myself with that passion instead. But I was putting it all into hatred, and it's very sad. And I am so glad that I've learned from that journey, and I am so glad that I have now written this ebook and that I can get it out there to the masses, and that the people who need it will find it. Because I'm a great believer in that too. Those people who need to hear what I have to say, those of you who need my message, who need my journey, who need to know what I've been through to come out the other side, you're the ones that are listening to this right now, because something led you here. Something brought you to me. And something that I have to say is massively relevant and important to you. And this book could make you feel better about yourself. And if it even helps one person to do that, then I have done my job. And I guess the biggest message from this today, I want to read you one passage, because I think it's really, really, really important that you realize what I am about to say right now. Okay, so it says, for years, I was stuck in a vicious circle of self-hate, constantly comparing myself to others, feeling like I was never, ever, ever good enough, looking in the mirror and hating everything about my body, about my face, and criticizing every single self-perceived flaw that I had. And it was self-perceived. Nobody else was giving me that message. And that's the biggest thing, isn't it? Nobody else is feeding us this message. We're doing it all to ourselves. So if that's you, just know that I've been there. I know how debilitating it is. I was that girl that hated myself to the point of exhaustion. But I now know that there's a better way. A way that's filled with self-compassion, with self-love, a path that actually allows you to start loving yourself and caring for yourself, a way to stop criticizing. I just feel as if you knew that your body, if you could see that your body was more than just a body, if you could feel that it's not just about, the lines on your face or the rolls of fat that you perceive yourself to have. It's not just about the figure. It's not about the features, the hair, the whatever. It's not about any of that. It's about what's inside the body. Because your body is literally just a vessel for your soul. It is a vessel for your personality, for your being, for you. And I am willing to bet that if you all just took a step back and took yourself out of the physical and took yourself out of just seeing what you see in the mirror. I used to stand in front of the mirror and poke and prod at every single line and wrinkle and feature and roll of fat and cellulite mark and stretch mark and freckle and hair and my bags under my eyes, or my hooded eyelids, or not thinking that I had big enough lips, or not thinking that I had small enough hips, or not thinking that I was this or that or the other. I used to stand in front of the mirror, and instead of seeing what was inside the physical body, I just criticized it all. I just criticized every single part of me. And what I wasn't recognizing was that I wasn't my body. I am much more than what you see on the outside. I have the kindest heart. I have so much empathy. I want to bring joy to others. I want to empower people to feel better about themselves. I am a good mom. I'm a good sister. I'm a good wife. I have so many personality traits that are wonderful. But yet I didn't see any of those, because all I was seeing was that my body was this physical thing that I got to criticize. It wasn't housing my being. It wasn't housing my soul. It wasn't housing me as a person, as a personality, as a being. And that is what you need to look at. So if you can't be nice about the exterior, look at the interior. Look at what is inside. Look at who you are. Look at your body differently. Don't just see the physical. Look at yourself as a whole. Look at yourself as just the outer casing for what's actually inside. What is in your heart? What is in your being? What good traits do you have? What are you like? Are you kind? I'm willing to bet you are. Have you got empathy? I absolutely know that you have. Are you a wonderful mom? I would be willing to bet that every single one of you listening to this right now can say yes to that question, because I don't think you'd be listening to this if you weren't that type of person. Are you a wonderful sister? Are you an amazing wife? Yes, you absolutely are, because you have sought out this message and you are incredible and you shine, and you are so much more than what is on the outer shell of yourself. And that is what I dive deeply into in the book, and I just need you all to know that. I need you all to know that you have to stop looking at the flaws and the figure and the face, because I'm willing to bet that all that's beautiful too. You just don't see that, because it's very hard for us as women, especially, but I also think men too have this, they suffer the same as women do. I can't see it from a man's perspective because I'm not male. But I actually believe that there are many, many men out there that are suffering and berating themselves the same way that women do, much the same way. And so my message to them is, this may seem like it's a message for women, but it's not. It's a message for everybody. Don't look at yourself as a body. Look at yourself as a whole. Look at yourself as the absolute entirety of what you are. Your personality, your character, your inner being, your just wonderfulness. You are amazing. And I want that message to be what you get from this. You are amazing. And the only person who looks at you and sees the flaws and the lines and the wrinkles and the rolls of fat is you. Nobody else sees that. Nobody else. And so I would actually want to challenge you at the end of this, I want to give you a challenge. I would love if you are brave enough to actually go to your social media, whatever social media platform that you use, and I would love for you to ask a question on that social media platform. And I want you to ask people to give you the 3 best traits that they see in you. And I want your social media profile to be flooded, absolutely overwhelmingly flooded with what people see in you. And it will be good, and it will be kind, and it will be amazing, and it will be such an eye-opener for you if you take my challenge and do this, because I would like you to see yourself through other people's eyes. I would like you to see yourself the way other people see you, and I want you to see that you are absolutely amazing. And if you want the book, if you think it would be useful to you, I'll put the link to that below so that you can get it. I'd love you to read it, because I truly believe that if you're here and you're listening to this, then there was a reason you were brought here, like I said, and the reason is that you need to read it, and that you need to heed this message that I have, and that you need to know that people see you differently to you, and that you need to do the challenge, because you need to read it in black and white. You need to see how people perceive you, because it's not how you perceive yourself. So that was quite deep today, but it's something that, like I say, it's very, very close to my heart. And don't waste the rest of your life hating and criticizing and seeing the bad, when you are full of good, and there is so much of you that is absolutely beautiful.